Sky Yoga. My pleasure to invite Professor Vijayashree Sudhakar, our Joint Director of Digital Solutions, WCSC, to deliver the welcome address. Over to Vijay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Be blessed by the divine. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, Vijay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, a very warm welcome to all our distinguished guests and dedicated participants from across the globe. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone joining us. On behalf of the World Community Service Center, Digital Solutions, and our esteemed partners, the Indian Yoga Association, Tamil Nadu State Chapter Committee, it is my immense pleasure to welcome you all in this very special English session as a part of our extended celebrations of the International Yoga Day. We are especially honored to extend our warm welcome to Mr. R. Ilangovan, the Secretary of the IYA Tamil Nadu State Chapter. The theme of this year's International Yoga Day is Yoga for One Earth, One Health. This profound theme beautifully echoes the ancient Indian wisdom of Vasudhaiva Kutumbam, the idea that the world is one family. It serves as a powerful reminder that our individual well-being is deeply connected with the health of our planet and our global community. In today's challenging world, where the shadows of conflict and division loom large, the need for peace has never been more urgent. But where does this peace truly begin? Our revered Guru Vedatri Maharishi gave us timeless and practical answer: world peace through individual peace. He provided us with scientific techniques to cultivate this peace, first within ourselves, radiating it and spreading it to our family, our society, and the world. To explore this vital topic today, we are blessed with two extraordinary speakers who bring two unique and powerful perspectives. For the first time, joining us is from the very heart of global diplomacy, Mr. Raja P. Arumugam, and representing the pure spiritual lineage of our Guru, we have Senior Professor Balachandran. Together, their insights promise a spectacular and a holistic session showing us how to achieve from both an external diplomatic framework and an internal spiritual one, offering both global perspective and a practical spiritual wisdom. We look forward to an enlightening and transformative session. So without further ado, I welcome you all once again and now hand over the proceedings to our esteemed moderator, Sunanda ma'am, to guide us through this journey. Thank you, ma'am. Be blessed by the divine.
Thank you so much for a very warm welcome, Vijay. Thank you so much. Be blessed by the divine. Before we start our program, let us first calm, tune, and prepare our mind to absorb and enjoy this wonderful session with a short meditation. So I extend my warm welcome to Professor Jayanti Balachandran and humbly request to guide us for a short meditation. So before that, let me just give you all a few lines about Jayanti Amma, as we fondly call her. Senior Professor Jayanti Balachandran is a mathematics major, an excellent singer, and a pillar of spiritual service in the Sky community. She has traveled extensively across the world with her husband, Senior Professor Balachandran, spreading the teachings of our Guru, Vedatri Maharishi. She was deeply blessed to have spent many years in close association with Maharishi, assisting in documenting and penning down his words into books. So her dedication, clarity in teaching, and artistic expression have inspired countless seekers on the spiritual journey. I'm indeed honored to welcome you, Jayanti Amma. Over to you for this short meditation.
Valamudan. Thank you, Sunandaji.
Thank you.
Yes, we are going to do Turiyam meditation. Those who are not familiar with meditation, close your eyes and focus on the breath. Be blessed by the divine. The atmosphere around us is purified by the divine power. The atmosphere around us is purified by the divine power. The divine energy descends upon us. We are purified and blessed. The divine energy descends upon us. We are purified and blessed. May the divine power protect us, guide us, and lead us in all our activities, day and night, in all places, at all times. Salutations to Mother. Salutations to Father. Salutations to the spiritual master, Vedatri Maharishi. We are going to do Turiya meditation. We will start the meditation at Ajna Chakra. Turiyam. Be blessed by the divine. We are concluding the meditation. Mentally spread the energy throughout the body. All the cells in the body are purified and blessed. Auto-suggestion. By the grace of divine, we all may enjoy good health, long life, prosperity, wisdom, and peace. By the grace of divine, we all may enjoy good health, long life, prosperity, wisdom, and peace. By the grace of divine and with Guru's blessings, let Vedatri Maharishi's concepts reach the world leaders and bring world peace. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, and peace. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, and peace. May there be peace within us. May there be peace around us. May there be peace in the whole world. Peace, peace, peace. Gently rub your palms and fingers. Pass the energy over the face. Raise your hands up. Take a deep breath and bring your hands down. Thank you so much. Be blessed by the divine.
Thank you so much, Jayanti. Be blessed by the divine. One Earth, One Health. This is the theme for this year's International Yoga Day. Our team has created a beautiful video on this theme. So shall we watch the video now?
One Earth, one magnificent interconnected system. Our health, the health of every living being, is intrinsically linked to the health of our planet. When our Earth thrives, we thrive. When it suffers, we all feel the impact. This is the essence of One Health. But how do we heal both ourselves and our world? Vethathiri Maharishi offered a profound insight. Individual peace is the cornerstone of world peace, and a peaceful world nurtures individual well-being. He envisioned a world where harmony prevails, within ourselves, with society, and with nature. He didn't just dream of this harmony, he meticulously crafted a blueprint of world peace, a practical framework further detailed in his comprehensive 14-point World Peace Plan. These plans address everything from individual conduct and spiritual development to global governance and economic reforms, all rooted in universal values and the understanding that lasting peace starts within. Maharishi taught practical techniques through simplified Kundalini yoga and introspection. When we find peace within, our actions become more conscious, compassionate, and considerate of the world around us. The very foundation needed to implement such a grand vision for global harmony. This individual peace doesn't stay confined. It naturally extends outwards. Peaceful individuals create peaceful families, peaceful communities, and ultimately, a peaceful world. A world at peace is a world that respects and nurtures its environment. It's a world where resources are shared equitably, and the health of the earth is a priority, leading to better health for all. Vethathiri Maharishi's vision beautifully aligns with One Earth, One Health. By transforming ourselves, we transform our relationship with the planet. Our individual journey to inner peace becomes a vital contribution to global well-being, for humanity and for the earth itself. It's a cycle. A healthy earth supports healthy individuals, and healthy individuals protect the earth. Let us embrace this path. Let us cultivate our inner peace for our own health and for the health of our one precious earth. Be blessed by the divine.
Peace within. If we are peace within, definitely we'll be spreading the peace everywhere, isn't it? And in fact, that is going to spread all over the world. So that is our theme. That was a beautiful video, isn't it? Next, I request our Senior Professor Balachandran sir to welcome a distinguished guest, Mr. Raja P. Arumugam. Over to you, sir.
Be blessed by the divine. It's a great honor for me to welcome on behalf of Indian Yoga Association and the World Community Service Center one of the senior most diplomats around the world, Mr. Raja Arumugam. He started his career in Indian civil service, and in a span of 10 years, he rose up to the level of Accountant General. And then he was drawn to international arena, where he was invited, or he went on deputation to United Nations. And then for the next 30 years, he continues to work in the United Nations, first as a professional in the audit and accounts, and later rose to a career diplomat for the last 20 years. He has traveled over 70 countries. He has been wherever there has been a hotspot problem. We could see Arumugamji there and trying to solve it. So whether it is Kuwait-Iraq war, he was there in the midst trying to solve it. In fact, when Saddam Hussein's oil for food problems was there, it was he who took the lead in bringing about peace there, in establishing Kuwait embassy in Iraq. Again, the problem in Kosovo. Like that, he has been always working on difficult areas and has been very, very successful. In the peace talks of famous Geneva II, his contribution was lauded by everyone. And after 30 years, he continues to serve the United Nations and the whole world. It's in fact a great honor, once again, on behalf of the World Community Service Center and Indian Yoga Association, I would request Arumugam ji to address us on a very important topic called Aliyar Declaration. Some of you may not be knowing what it is, but he was so passionate about it. He said, I'm going to talk on this. And the relevance, it took place way back in 2002. But he said it is still relevant. And so it is on this topic he is going to address this. Over to you, sir.
Sir, unable to hear you, sir.
You're on mute.
Am I?
Can you unmute? Yes,
Okay,
Yes.
can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the ardent followers of Vedatra Maharishi. And I'm happy to be participating in this video call and addressing to all of you. First of all, I would like to thank Balachandran ji for the introduction and Vijay Sri ji for following up to make sure that I do come and talk about, share my perspectives on the Aliyar Declaration 2022 and its contemporary relevance. Let me begin by addressing a little bit about my experiences. I've been in the UN 30 years now. Although UN has got different parts of various aspects of the UN and health and development and everything, I chose the core mandate of maintaining international peace and security. And that's why I have always passionate about military and peace and peacekeeping and things like that. That's why I chose to continue in the peacekeeping missions, although it is a little bit dangerous and difficult. As you can see, peacekeeping, the places where UN operates in the world are not some of the best of places. So it was my passion to be part of peacekeeping, and I've always been in peacekeeping in different parts of the world. What am I doing here as a peacekeeper doing here in WCSC and Vedatra Maharishi is something interesting. I was introduced or initiated into Maharishism and universal part of Maharishism about year and a half ago. It was pure accident that I happened to be in Coimbatore. I come from Tirupur, which everybody knew is a textile town in Coimbatore. I grew up in Coimbatore and Tirupur. Then I studied in Chennai and then went into the civil service. So when I was home last year, a year and a half ago, I had gone to meet one of my close relatives, Mr. S.V. Balachandran. I'm sure everybody will know about it because he's the president of the Arivu Tirukoil in Aliyar. So when I had gone for a meal with him, during the course of the meal, he asked me, what is my plan for the weekend? I said, I have nothing much. So he said, why don't you come to Aliyar and have a visit of the Arivu Tirukoil? And they were having their annual general body meeting there. So that's how I got invited and initiated into Vedatra Maharishi. So I went there. When I went there, I couldn't believe it. I was so fascinated by the entire setting of Arivu Tirukoil because it's so beautifully located. And everything about Arivu Tirukoil is so beautiful, greenery all over the place, trees, flowers, the grasses are so beautifully manicured. And then you have in the middle of all that is the temple of Vedatra Maharishi. I was so fascinated. So when I went, my first impression was so good. And then I attended the meeting and I discussed it. And whatever I heard from there, I was so involved and passionate. That's how I got initiated into what. And one of the things that came to my mind at that time is, okay, fine. This is something which is happening in my place. What I am doing all over the world, somebody had looked at it 25, 30, 40 years ago and given a solution to the world in the form of the Aliyar Declaration in 2022. I read the document. I found it so interesting and so knowledge and meaning. There's so much of issues covered in that, which are global, which are universal, which can be applied to anybody else. So I was fascinated on that. Then following that, then somebody suggested I go to WCSC headquarters in Thiruvanmiyur, which I went there last year, and I also happened to meet some of you there. When I went there, they took me to the room where Vedatara Maharishi lived his life. Such a great man, such a great vision, such a great visionary, has brought solutions for most of the problems what the humanity is facing, lived such a humble life. I was so fascinated by that. That's how I got involved in Vedatrism. And I told myself, this is something where despite doing whatever I do in the United Nations, for me to do back in my own country, to contribute to the international peace through Vedatri Maharishi, this is where I got my interest on that. That's how my interest in Vedatri Maharishi started. I'm still, unlike most of you, I'm still in an elementary school because I've been there just for a year and a half, still learning about Vedatri Maharishi and his teachings and his views and ideas and vision. So please bear with me. I'm still on an elementary school student when it comes to Vedatri Maharishi. But what inspired me is the Aliyar Declaration of 2022. That is something which is fascinating because I've read that many times, and I have seen whatever is said in the 2002 declaration, which came out after a conference by international experts, where Vedatara Maharishi had come back and given expensive, give a solution to most of the problems the humanity is facing. I thought I will use that as my basic document today, and then see whatever he said in 2002, what has happened from 2002 to 2025, and see how relevant it is today, and then see where we move in the next part of the 21st century. When you look at, let me give you a little bit about the declaration. When you read the preamble of the declaration, it clearly says, Vedatara Maharishi expected that the dawn of the 21st century is the great time where he sensed a sense of hope and anticipation when the new century started. So if you really look at what happened at that time in 2002 in the global politics, now please bear with me because whatever he had said has got something to do with global politics, geopolitics, and you will really appreciate the understanding of a guru who's more into spiritual. His understanding of global politics and geopolitics and its impact on humanity is phenomenal, mind-boggling, I would say. If I'm sometimes I really wonder how somebody from that part of India, from some remote place, had such a global vision of everything that is happening in the world and came out with this document. So when slightly let us put things in proper perspective, the 1990s, that is the end of the 20th century, saw a major development in the global world order. The Soviet Union collapsed, which that was the end of the Cold War, and then you have the bipolar world order had changed into unipolar world war. That's when this 2002 declaration had taken place. There's phenomenal seismic change in the global landscape in terms of global politics. And at that time, Vedatara Maharishi was so very clear that any problem with this has to be fundamentally done with all that in the document. Let me tell you simply, the document has so much of information and so much of aspects that you can talk about it for the whole day today. But I would like to limit it to myself to where I have my expertise and where it completely relates to the United Nations. And it also talks about what is to be done in the United Nations, what is to be done in peacekeeping. And it also talks about human rights and women and those kind of things. So given the paucity of time, limited time, I would like to focus on Vedatri Maharishi's vision on how the UN should be reformed to face the challenges of the 21st century. This was in 2002 when he said that in the declaration, we are quarter century away from it now. And if you really look at what had happened in the last 25 years, you will see so much of activities, conflicts have taken place. The geopolitics have shifted. We have gone from bipolar to a unipolar to a multipolar world today, where I would also like to touch about when I once when I finish with probably in between talk about India's role in geopolitics and how the 2002 Aliyar Declaration reflects on India's progress, India's contribution to world peace and harmony. So I'll also, as part of it, I'll touch it. But right now, let me talk about the declaration. One of the important part, what Vedatri Maharishi talks about is the reform of the United Nations. He says United Nations has to be democratized. Is the UN democratized after 50, 75 years of its existence? No, it is not. But Vedatri Maharishi has clearly says, whatever is the UN, particularly when he talks about United Nations, he talks about the main policy making body there, that is the Security Council. Vedatri Maharishi says that why it is relevant today is he says the Security Council, which was established in 1945, immediately after the First World War, reflects the geopolitics, the political situation of 1945. It does not reflect what is happening, what had happened in the last 50, 60, 70 years. It does not truly reflect the current position of the country's strength. He says what was established in 1945 may not be very relevant now. So he had in the declaration said United Nations has to reform. He said the Security Council has to expand. It has to become democratized. He doesn't say anything about it. But what happened after that, after 2002, is the UN has gone into a little bit of reform process. If you know, we had a famous Secretary General, Mr. Kofi Annan, who was a Nobel Peace Laureate. During the end of his term, he proposed few changes, reforms to the UN security system, Security Council. Particularly, he said the Security Council should expand. Right now, as you know, we have 5 permanent members and 10 non-permanent members. The 5 permanent members have what everyone calls veto, which whether the Maharishi had clearly said the veto should go. It is no longer democratic. So at some point you have to cancel the veto. And then he said the Security Council has to be extended. What Kofi Annan proposed at that time was he said the 10 non-permanent members has to be expanded to 15. And he also wanted to add 5 more permanent members without veto. So basically he suggested to reflect the current geopolitics in international order, the Security Council should be increased, the membership of Security Council should be increased to 25. That is what was proposed, and that probably, in my view, is what is the relevance of the declaration of 2002 reflects on. So what is happening now is we are still discussing. India has been actively campaigning to be a permanent member of the Security Council. More or less, almost out of the 194 member states, I can tell you almost 175 countries have clearly endorsed India to be a permanent member. But then when that happens is something to be seen. You probably, hopefully, it will take about 5 years, 10 years, 25 years. We don't know. So that is one of the major recommendations of Vedatri Maharishi to expand to reform and expand the Security Council. Another aspect of Vedatri Maharishi in Aliyar Declaration 2002 is he had predicted that the conflicts will continue, and as and when the conflicts continue, UN has to establish peacekeeping missions. I just want to give you an understanding of what are the current peacekeeping missions we have. As we speak today, there are about 3 major conflicts which are going around the world, high-level conflicts. One, of course, is, as you all know, the Ukraine Russia war is happening for the last 2.5 years. Then we had Israel-Gaza war, which has been going on for a year and a half now. And then now, till 2 weeks ago, we had Israel Iran war, which for time being it's kind of in a lull moment now, but it can change anytime now. So we have three major wars going on, and in addition to it, we have about 18 what we call medium grade conflict going around the world. Let's take a look at what are the peacekeeping missions. What Vedatar Maharishi has said in the 2002 declaration is, wherever there is conflict, UN should establish immediately peacekeeping missions so that you bring in peace and harmony to the world. So we currently have, if you really look at it, if you go from east to west, we have the 33rd parallel. We have a very small operation between North and South Korea. Then when you go west, we have India, Pakistan, which has been there for quite a long time, which was established in 1949, which is still ongoing, which was there till 2 weeks ago. It was in the news when Operation Sindoor happened. Then you have peacekeeping in Iraq. We had peacekeeping in Iraq. We have peacekeeping in Yemen, Syria, Cyprus. Then if you go further into Europe, you have peacekeeping in Kosovo. Then you go to Africa, you have peacekeeping in Libya, you have peacekeeping in Sudan, you have peacekeeping in South Sudan, you have peacekeeping in Somalia, you have peacekeeping in Democratic Republic of Congo. And then when you go further west, you have peacekeeping mission in Haiti, you have peacekeeping mission in Colombia. These are all some of the major peacekeeping activities which are taking place, which is essential to establish international peace and security. And this is something which Vedatri Maharishi has clearly proposed to the UN and to the world at large, that when there is a conflict, if you are not able to arrest the progress of the conflict, UN has to establish peacekeeping missions. So these are all some of the peacekeeping activities that is taking place. But he also suggests UN should create a permanent core of peacekeepers all over the world, so where they can be deployed as and when there is a requirement immediately. So that is something which has not happened yet. But I'm very happy to tell you, as you can see from my profile, India is one of the leading provider of peacekeepers all over the world. India is number 2. We have been providing peacekeepers from 1948 onwards. So far, we have provided about 500,000 or more peacekeepers to deploy to the various parts of the world. So peacekeeping is a continuous process. I've been, as has been introduced, I've been part of most of the conflicts in the last 25 years. Whatever was the important conflict, I'd been a part of the conflict, not part of the conflict, I've been part of the peacekeeping mission by the UN to bring in about peace and lasting solution to the people in those regions. So that's one of the important aspects of Vedatar Maharishi. How does it relevant today? Peacekeeping will continue to be formed as part of UN activities. It has happened in the last 25 years. It will continue to have in the next 50 years or so. So one of the important declarations is very relevant now and will continue to be relevant. The other issue which I wanted to talk about, what happened between 2002 and 2025, is if you really look at what changed the global perspective on international order, is you must have read about the Arab Spring. Arab Spring is a people's movement that started somewhere in the Arab world, starting from North Africa, and then for the next 3-4 years, it swept through the whole of Middle East and North Africa and brought in a dynamic change to the political structure in those countries. What Vedatar Maharishi says in the 2002 declaration is, wherever you have autocracy, wherever you have theocracy, that should end and democracy should be pursued. Democracy should be established in those countries where people have a say in what is happening in the government, and he wanted active people's participation in those governments. What happened in the Arab Spring? If you really look at the countries which are affected by the Arab Spring, you look at, they've all been ruled by dictators for 30, 40 years, where everything, the fundamental rights of what we enjoy in India, of freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of human rights, and expression, everything have all been subjugated by the dictatorship. So what happened in the Arab Spring? People rose against it. So it, I can tell you, it started with in Iraq, when the second Gulf War happened in 2003. That's when Saddam Hussein, who has been ruling Syria with an iron fist, and creating all kinds of problems for the people of Iraq and for the region, fell, and then ultimately he was tried and hanged. So that created a momentum for the various people in in all this autocratic world to rise against their dictators, and that is what Vedatra Maharishi foresaw in the 2002 Aliyar Declaration. If you really look at what happened in all those countries, a country like Tunisia, where uh, Zain El Abdin bin Ali, he was the dictator who was ruling for almost about 25, 30 years. He was overthrown. That happened in 2010. Then you had Egypt. Egypt was another country where actually, when the second revolution took place, I was posted in Egypt at that time, where Hosni Mubarak and the family, who have been ruling the country for 30 years, was overthrown. And that led to the election, and coming up of Muslim Brotherhood, which the people didn't want it to, where the democratically elected president, when he turned the Egyptian society to Muslim Brotherhood and Islamic fundamentalism, people rose against him, and he was overthrown too. And again, um, in Egypt, and then at that time was Mr. Muhammad Gaddafi. Gaddafi was ruling Libya for almost 50 years with an iron fist, with fundamentally destroying the basic rights of its own citizens. But he was thrown out by a revolution as part of the Arab Spring. Finally, he was murdered. He was found in a gutter and killed. And the last of the entire, there was phenomenal change in the Middle East structure, where even the kings and sheikhs have changed their um, way of governing and became a little bit democratized. And that's what Vedanta Maharishi had said in the 2002 declaration, wherever you have dictatorship, they should modernize and bring in democracy. And that's what happened in 2000. That's what happened in the last 10, 15 years after the Arab Spring. The last one to fall was Bashar al-Assad, where I am currently involved in my capacity, peacekeeping mission, which I've been involved in the last 10 years. Bashar Assad was there was a revolt. He fled the country. He went to Russia, and then you have a new government there trying to democratize. So if you really look at whatever happened in the last 20 years from the time of Aliyar Declaration, whatever political landscape has changed according to what was visioned by Vedanta Maharishi in the 2002. So, these are all examples of why someone like me is attracted to or initiated into Vedanta Maharishiism, what we call, and its applicability to the global political scenario, political landscape, geopolitics. And this is something which my view is very limited to people in India, but I personally think we need to bring it up to the world and to tell the world that here we have a saint who had visioned what had happened in the last 20, 25 years and offered solutions to it. Let me also tell you one other aspects where the relevance of Vedatra Maharishi and the Aliyar Declaration 2020 2002 is what the world saw by the end of 20 um, it's 20, yeah, the COVID outbreak. When COVID outbreak happened, when coronavirus became a problem, which became a pandemic to the world, everybody in the world was looking to a solution. And then the entire humanity joined hands together as envisioned by Vedatara Maharishi in the 2022 declaration to overcome the challenges of coronavirus. If you see whether a country is rich or poor or with a small population or a large population joined together and fought the virus. And the way the virus spread like the speed with which it spread all over the world realized that for humanity to survive, they have to join. They have to shed all their differences, and then irrespective of whatever is your economic status or political status or your military or your health aspects or medical research, everybody have to join together. That demonstrated when you have a crisis, as envisioned by Vedatara Maharishi, the world joined together to come to an understanding to deal with the pandemic, which was threatening the very existence of humanity. People have gone into quarantine. People have gone into self-quarantine. They did a lot of research. Countries have developed vaccines, and irrespective of where it is needed, it was distributed all over the world, particularly a country like India, which has got a major vaccine capacity, produced vaccine in large numbers and distributed to all the needy countries which cannot afford. India was very generous in giving it free or at a lower cost, by which India was able to establish itself as envisioned by Vedatara Maharishi. When there is a crisis, it was the guiding principle for India to play a leading role in distributing vaccines throughout the world. And that's why when the world looks at under the guidance of the wisdom of gurus like Vedatara Maharishi, India was considered to be a Vishwa Guru. Everybody said India is helping out and India can be the Vishwa Guru. When you have a conflict, when you have a problem, India can play a leading role in bringing about peace. If you really look at it, where do we get all these things? Where do the country get all these things? The country is getting all this wisdom from the thinking and the preachings and the writings and the vision of people like Vedatara Maharishi. If you really read, I wish everybody reads that. If you read the 2002 Aliyar Declaration, it's so good. It provides opportunity and solution to everything under the sun for all humanity to live in peace and harmony. Oh, this is these are all something which is important for us to know and to understand that Vedatara Maharishi and his preachings of which is universal and which is relevant even today, and it will be relevant for most of the years to come. Another aspect of 2002 declaration is universal declaration of human rights, where it's clearly said that every country in the world should respect human rights. I'm sitting in Geneva and I attend almost every Human Rights Council meetings, which is organized. The Human Rights Council, as you know, is located in Geneva. So I attend all that is happening in the Human Rights Council, and I clearly understand and see for myself with my own first-hand information how each country is protecting and applying the universal standards of human rights, something which was there in the document and which has been preached by and be envisioned by Vedatara Maharishi. Wherever there is a problem in human rights, the world joins together. And this is my information. When I sit in the Human Rights Council, I take a lot of interest in what is happening in the field of Human Rights Council. And the Human Rights Council meets thrice a year. And every time when there is a meeting, I always go to the important things. My special interest is to see how the world looks at India in terms of human rights activities. I also look at the areas of Middle East and North Africa, where I've spent lot of years in that region, where the world looks at human rights aspects. So that's where my interest is. But I can proudly say that the vision of Vedatara Maharishi, I could see that in the Human Rights Council discussions, where every country is striving to protect and apply Human Rights Council universally. When there is a violation, the world around the other members of the world will make sure that they bring in some sense of discipline in enforcing human rights violations. And whoever has been violated, they've all been punished so far. I can give you endless things on what happens in all these areas of human rights. The other aspect of what is relevance today is women. A country like India, where we have almost 1.4 billion 1.4 billion people with almost 50% women, we are forerunners in telling the world how we should treat women. Women have every kind of possible rights and representation in every form of legislatures, in every other institutions in India. We have been telling the world, and rightfully so, to some of the Western countries to have taken active role in promoting the rightful position for women in every public life, in professional life. That is something which Vedatar Maharishi is clearly is talking about it is in the Aliyar Declaration. That the other important aspect of Vedatar Maharishi is on the economic development. As you know, in the last 20, 30 years, um, uh, particularly after the global COVID pandemic, there is a little bit of economic slowdown around the world. But when every country is doing 4%, 2%, 1%, 2.5% annual economic growth, India has been consistently registering 6% and above, and the World Bank expects it is likely to grow. But if you really look at the disparity between the rich and the poor, and if you is narrowing down in India because of the wider economic activity, and this is something which Vedatar Maharishi has clearly focused it, that any emancipation, any peace of mind, or any peace in individual peace has to come through economic well-being of families, of individuals, of families, of a country, and that is what is happening in India. If you have followed up recently, one of the important aspects of World Bank study, well, the World Bank had come back and said, I'm not sure it's World Bank or IMF, one of the Bretton Woods institutions have come back and said the people below the actual poverty line, has gone up, has reduced considerably, and we are only about 5% or 6%. It's a very, very minimum number. So people have gone up above the poverty line, and that is bringing in a lot. So in all conclusion, if you really look at the 2002, and today the world looks up to India. India is playing a major role in anything and everything that is happening around the world, be it in India is in a place in the foreign policy, as rightly have said, is right now mainly focused on Vasudeva Kudumbakam, where we look up to the world as one family, where we look at the future as one future and for the entire world. So that is something which Vedatar Maharishi has clearly said, that if world has to progress, countries have to progress, and the leadership that India has taken in the last 15, 20 years is phenomenal in telling the whole world that if countries progress economically, then every other country in the world can progress. India has taken that leadership, and if you see, um, India has taken a leadership of the third world countries like African Union, the ASEAN, or any of the world groupings look up to India for the leadership position and to help and guide them in whatever problems they face internationally. So overall, because of the timing, I also would like to run through the important parts. But if you really look at, in conclusion, what was said in the 2002 document and whatever has been said by Vedatar Maharishi, whether it is talks in the UN or whether it is in writings about humanity and security and peace and women development and human rights, whatever was said in the 2002 document, we have made we have made considerable progress, but it's still going to take some more time. So whatever had happened in the last 25 years after the 2002 declaration, it is time for WCSC and those followers of Vedatara Maharishi, like yourself and myself, and WCSC and Aliyar Arivu Tirukkoil, to take a look at the 2002 declaration and see what has been achieved and what are the new challenges we have now. Update that, that is something which we need to do that, and update whatever is required now, make few amendments to the earlier declaration, and then bring out a new declaration. Why I am saying this is, as everybody knows, WCSC is currently an NGO accredited with the UN EcoSAC. So we have the status of an NGO which has got accreditation to the EcoSAC. So whatever has been preached by, whatever has been envisioned by, whatever has been laid to written in black and white by Vedatara Maharishi has to be brought out to the world, to tell the world, listen, Indian wisdom comes through the teachings and preachings of saints and yogis like Vedatara Maharishi, and their vision is something that will help guide the world and humanity towards a more peaceful world. He has given so much of techniques and so much of ideas on how to do it. What we need to do now is we need to update the 2002, make it more relevant. Whatever has been achieved, take credit to what has been achieved by the Vedatari Maharishi's visions, and update whatever has to be done for the future and adopt it as a new resolution, probably 2025 or 2026 or 2030, with a vision for the next 20-25 years, and projecting India's role in bringing as a Vishwaguru, as part of the Vasudeva Kudumbakam, and bring it to the world and bring it to the United Nations again, and tell the world, here we have the conflicts have changed, the nature of conflicts have changed, there is economic development, there are problems, you still have changes to the world, democracy is taking shape in few other places, but we have new conflicts. How do we deal with the new conflicts? Based on the ideas and views of Vedatara Maharishi should be brought out and brought up to the United Nations again as quick as possible by WSC, by Arivu Tirukkoil of Aliyar, and probably in the next year or two, we need to bring out a new declaration, an updated version, and tell the world, listen, this is what we can prove, and bring in, now that India plays a leading Vishwaguru role, use that platform and bring it to the United Nations in the form of a new declaration. That will be my large wish. That will be the wish of everybody here. Whatever was said in 2002 as achievements, progress, but we have new challenges and that require new vision, and Vedatara Maharishi had left enough wisdom for us to tell the world, for the world to follow, so that we have more peace and harmony in the world. With this few words, paucity of time, because you have another speaker and time constraints. As I said, we can talk about the 2002 Aliyar Declaration for one full day of different parts, but that's for another day. But let's look at a new declaration, an addendum to the 2002 declaration, which brings out the modern day challenges and solutions by the Vedatara Maharishi. I sincerely thank those who had given me an opportunity to speak, and this is my initiation. I would humbly request that I will be taking part in more events like this, where when I've studied a little more about Vedatara Maharishi, I will come back and talk about particular individual areas of global peace and security in the future. I thanks once again for giving me this opportunity on this extended day of yoga. We also organized an international day of yoga event in Geneva last week, and we had somebody from Brahma Kumaris who had come and spoke. Probably, next year we will see if we can, through the Indian mission and government of India, bring somebody from WCSC to be leading that celebrations next year. Again, thank you again for everybody for listening to me, and I thank you again for everybody for another opportunity, and look forward to interacting with all of you again. Thank you very much, and have a nice good evening. வாழ்க வளமுடன், வாழ்க வையமும், வாழ்க வேதாத்ரி மகரிஷியின் புகழ். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. வாழ்க வளமுடன். Be blessed by the divine. Thank you, sir, for sharing your perspectives in this Aliyar Declaration 2002 by Vethathiri Maharishi. And I'm dumbstruck, sir, with the knowledge and extensive pieceworks that as a special envoy to many countries, and your genuine efforts to bring peace in the conflicting countries. And you're connecting the present scenario of, the world with Vethathiri Maharishi's principles and bringing in Maharishi's declaration as well. And your thought that we should have a new declaration in the future, and hoping that next year someone is going to present in the year during the International Day. That is a very a beautiful thought. It's so heartening that you are here with us and sharing your knowledge. And we have never heard this. I mean, there is war everywhere, and all the countries that you visited. So we know that you've traveled extensively. It's more than 70 countries that I've heard. And you've been a special envoy, peace maker. So we are humbled, sir, to have you with us today. And definitely we will have you more sessions to come, and love to hear from you more, what are the things that we can bring more peace into this whole world. I'm sure Maharishi's his vision is definitely spreading, because we have this online classes going on past 4 years, and it has reached many thousands all over the world. So thank you once again for being with us today. வாழ்க வளமுடன், வாழ்க வளமுடன். Be blessed by the divine. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. I apologize. I have to leave for another meeting. So if you allow me, I will leave now. Thank you, and I look forward to be not necessarily a speaker. I would look forward to be a participant and actively involved in WC and Aliyar Tirukkoil. I was so fascinated by the place. I'll tell you. I can't believe something like this happening in my hometown, which I have not even noticed it before. It's such a beautiful place.
No, I truly believe you are the special envoy of our Guru Vethathiri Maharishi. So welcome, sir. Definitely, you can be a speaker as well as a participant. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So yes, so that was a beautiful message, and I am dumbstruck. I am speechless. I don't know what to say. So let's move on to the next program now. We have with us, it is our profound honor and privilege to introduce a true pillar of the World Community Service Center, Senior Professor Balachandran. To understand the depth of his connection to our Guru, one needs to know that Vethathiri Maharishi himself fondly referred to him as one of his 7 o'clock students, a testament to his unwavering discipline and eagerness to learn directly from the master. So Professor Balachandran sir's service is a story of pioneering dedication. So as the director for other states and foreign countries for 17 years, he was a primary instrument in showing the seeds of Vedatriyam across the globe, establishing our Guru's philosophy in over 20 countries. His unique gift in his ability to transcend language and cultural barriers. He is fluent in Tamil, English, Hindi, and he conveys the deepest truths of sky philosophy with a remarkable clarity, warmth, and humor that captivates every listener. So such was his commitment that he took voluntary retirement from a distinguished 23-year career in the Indian Statistical Service to dedicate his life to full-time service in Aliyar. His leadership has been instrumental in landmark achievements, including spearheading the accreditation of WCSC with the United Nations. So today, he has extended his services, sharing the complete essence of Vedatriyam with the world through online classes also. So we are incredibly fortunate to learn from a person who not only carries the knowledge, but also embodies the spirit of our Guru's mission. Please join me in offering a warm and respectful welcome to Senior Professor Balachandran, sir. Be blessed by the Divine, sir.
Can I share the PPT?
Yes, sir.
Okay. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, and peace. May we all be blessed with good health, long life, enough wealth, wisdom, and peace. Thank you, Sunandaji. And I'm also dumbstruck by our previous speaker, a career diplomat, Mr. Raja Arumugam, who spent more than 30 years. And if he is enchanted by Aliyar Declaration, and he having been in the hot spots of world problems and finding it so relevant that even to this day, that Aliyar Declaration is as fresh as what it was 25 years back. In fact, after the Aliyar Declaration, we could see further progress in UNO itself. We have the International Yoga Day, which we are celebrating as a part of the celebrations. We have the International Meditation Day. These two things have happened in the last 10 years. And India has been in the forefront in starting that. So there was a time when yoga and meditation was considered something esoteric, something to do with particular religion and all that. But today, the whole consciousness in the world has changed. That they talk about meditation, they talk about yoga as one way to reach high productivity and even to reach the highest level of consciousness. And it is by people like Maharishi, Vivekananda, such people who have brought this. Unfortunately, Mr. Arumugam has gone, but 2002 was almost the fag end of Maharishi's life. He was talking about world peace for more than 6 decades. In fact, if you go back 25 years back, in the year 1976, on January 9th, Vedadri Maharishi addressed the United Nations Organization. And he, about 50 years back from now, has said that if world peace has to come, it is important that individual peace is achieved. And that individual peace can be achieved through yoga and meditation. And he even demonstrated certain exercises and meditation techniques. So he was a real great visionary. Not only that, if you go back further 25 years, way back in 1958, he starts an organization called World Community Service Center. Nothing lower than that. And the objective is world peace. An organization he starts with absolutely no money, with nothing at all, except for the vision and the determination that when you start from individual peace only, world peace is possible. And that he will start as an individual, going from village to village, from city to city, to country, but tirelessly for 60, 70 years. And that was in 1958. But in 1957, he had already written a book called World Peace. Maharishi has never thought of anything lower than world. World was the minimum for him. And above that is universe. And then beyond that, the divinity. So world was the minimum for him. Whereas we still think in terms of our families, myself, and then mine and I and all that. But he was in the other corner. But he was able to come down to our level and then take all of us there. And about United Nations itself. Now, Swamiji talks about, on the one hand, the beauty about Vedadri Maharishi is he is able to attack problems at different levels from different facets also. So at the individual level, starting from meditation, introspection, Kayakalpa, and things like that, and then family harmony, like that, practices like that to evolve a person from the basic material consciousness or consciousness of the body to spiritual consciousness and even to divine consciousness. A human being, depending on the level of consciousness, he can be an animal or he can be a divine. We have both divine imprints and the animal imprints in us. So if only we can bring out the divine imprints by these practices, all of us could reach perfection. And that was his dream. But at the same time, as a very practical man, a person, if he is hungry, if he is not employed, if he doesn't have good health, if he doesn't have proper social environments, if there is no freedom, if there is no human rights are not there, if there are wars everywhere, I don't think anybody can meditate and go there. So at different levels, Swamiji has come out with solutions. And one of the most important points he has been making is, should we have a war at all? Is war necessary? That's a fundamental question he wants to ask all the political leaders or all of us. Is war necessary at all? Who will say that war is necessary? We all see the consequences of war, and war has never been a solution for anything at all. In fact, it has added only more problems. All the developments in science, what has resulted in, yes, we have got so much of comforts, so much great things have happened in science, but when science is misused, while a tribal man would have used stone for hitting the other person, today we are having nuclear bombs. And it can go to the hands of terrorists. We don't know what to do. And artificial intelligence, we don't know what it is going to lead to. There's no control at all. Science being misused. So we are in a more dangerous situation than what we were during World War I or World War II or earlier wars. So we are sitting on a precipice without knowing, without even thinking about these things. It is high time that people like Vedadri Maharishi's teachings are taken seriously. So way back in 1957, in his World Peace book, he talks about if there should be no war at all. He gives a very simple solution. Let's take an example of India or US. US has got 50 states. It's a union of 50 states. India is a union of about 30 states. And of course, states have their problems. Tamil Nadu is having a problem with Karnataka for water. Like that, border areas, problems are there. But why is it that one state in India is not fighting with another state of India in spite of differences of opinion? The simple reason is that neither the Tamil Nadu government has got army, nor the Karnataka government has got army. We have only Indian army. No state has got an army. So states, within states, there can be no war at all. It's not possible. Now, why can't we extend that? Why don't we have a union of the world? Why only union of United States or African Union or European Union? Why not union of the world? And let no country have an army. Today, we spend more than 10% or 15% of our GDP on defense. And even if there is no war, we are constantly have to spend that much of money. While on the other hand, we have people dying of hunger, dying of literacy, illiteracy, all sorts of problems are there. Ill health. So, similar to the state government and above that the national government, why not have an international government? And he was saying that United Nations could become a world government. Of course, we may think it's not possible at all. So he has an interim plan. I would request everyone to go through the World Peace book. How a visionary way back in 1950s has thought about these things, which are as relevant as it was, or even more relevant than what it was 60, 70 years back. So he says it is possible, the possible solution is have an interim plan. Can't immediately remove all the armies and all that. No country is going to accept that, but have an interim plan. So for next 25 years, let the armies be under the United Nations, so that no particular country has a hold on army. And if that is done, countries cannot fight among themselves. But if there's a problem, what do we do? Now, what are the major problems in the world for a war? Is some few villages this way or that way, whether it should come to China or whether it should come to India or Pakistan. Some remote area. For that, we are fighting. So we have an international court of justice, just like Supreme Court will decide whether the water should go to Karnataka or Tamil Nadu. We have an international court of justice as a part of the United Nations. So let the two countries put their arguments and let the great judicial luminaries look into it and decide, okay, these few villages can be administered by this country or that country. That's all. Why should we have a fight on that? And at the end of the fight, who wins? Is it justice which wins? No. It is the most efficient murderer. He is the winner. So in every fight, every war, the more efficient murderers stay back or live. So ultimately, who are all staying back or living? Murderers. So that is what is happening. So start like that, and over a period of time, and all the army, if it is under United Nations, and there's no war, what will they do with so many people? Now all that efforts, they're all experts, because most of the scientific developments are happening because of war. Nuclear bomb started, nuclear energy research was mainly because Einstein said that Germany could be producing bomb, and America started developing that. So we spend most of our science, most of our money in defense, whether war is there or not. So when there is no going to any war, all these people can be used to develop the backward areas. Even 10% of what is being spent today, if Maharishi says, if it is spent on backward countries, all of them, they will not have any more hunger, will not have any more of disease of this kind. All these things will not be, there will be no orphans. And the whole world will be a much better place. And who will not like this? Is it going to be difficult? We have to raise the consciousness of the individuals. So that's where meditation and all, thinking that I will not harm anybody. Somebody talks about the cultural change. Cultural change does not mean we require a big change. He says the whole world culture can be totally transformed by just 2 codes of culture. Only 2 codes, 2 rules. One is each one takes an affirmation within himself or herself. I will not give pain to others physically or mentally. And the second is, to the extent possible, I will help others. Just these 2 is enough. All others are only rituals and what we have been carrying over from previous generations, just out of habit. Total cultural transformation is possible just by using, is it a difficult proposition? So once there is no war at all, the whole world can be totally different. Like that, Swamiji talks about economic parity. Now, economic parity, he does not talk about communism or capitalism. He comes out with what is called altruism. And what is altruism? If you know what is the fundamental truth and live in tune with that, and then you follow the steps, that is altruism. And what is the truth? Though we are different by color, by race, by country, by language, by social status, by gender, etc., we are saying only analytically the differences. But what is common among all these diversities? It is that we are all human beings. And going back, we all must have started from a single man or a woman. That's what Darwin says. And if you go back further, 5 cents, 4 cents from plant and from inorganic matter, we all must have started from one source. All religions talk about one source, call it by whatever name. Only the name is different, or they give forms to it. But they all agree, and the science also is looking for unified force. So what science is looking for is unified force, and what is that one source, which all religions are talking about, should be same, should be the same thing. And Swamiji comes out with what is called consciousness, divine consciousness. So it is obvious there must be consciousness operating that. And it is from that total consciousness we all evolved. So within us, that consciousness is there. But the animality is also there. So remove the animality, develop the consciousness. Peace in it. So the religions can coexist if we understand the core principle of understanding the divine consciousness in everyone. And so I respect everyone. We can see divinity in everyone. The truth, if divinity is present everywhere, it should be within me. So can our vision be tuned towards that? So that is one aspect. And if I see divinity everywhere, I will be not harming anybody at all. If possible, like this, Swamiji comes out with plans, methods, procedures at various levels, at economic level, political level, even democracy. There are some changes required. We don't have time for all this, but Swamiji talks about 14 plan, 14 plan point for peace. As Arumugam has said, this can go on and on. So it talks about world war. It is not impossible from the rich and shine for that. Not going to be the solution at all. Any revolution Swamiji talks about will not do pain to anyone in the side. So it's a revolution. In fact, revolutionary revolution Swamiji talks about. Raise the level of judiciary, a lot of changes are required. One world federal government is possible. So not only the Security Council that has got only 5 members or 10 members, Security Council doesn't have power to operate. So when there's no power, what's the point in even if Security Council coming to a resolution? So that is where the world army under them, and then the security can be provided. Then the international justice can reformation. We saw just 2 points in economists and religious leaders. But actually, if the world can be led by intellectuals, people like Maharishi, if they lead us, then again, peace will definitely emanate. Respect for manhood. Like that, on everything Swamiji has given plans for a total transformation. On this day, let through Arumugam and with all our thoughts, we pray for world peace, and it is not impossible. It is just that the consciousness of the individuals have to be risen, and then there are beautiful methods for that. With those words, I thank once again for this wonderful opportunity to be sharing the stage along with such a senior person, and with the hope that world peace is not really a pipe dream. It is possible. Thank you very much. Be blessed.
Thank you so much, sir. Be blessed by the divine. So I know this is one of your favorite topics, and every speech you never forget to mention the Aliyar Declaration 2002. And of course, the 14 points Maharishi is greatly talked about, and Balachandran's his favorite topic. And thank you so much, sir, for being with us today. Yes, now I think we need to move on to the next program. I'm happy to welcome Professor Janaki Raman, our Director of Digital Solutions, WCSC, a Sky professor, psychologist, and a family counselor. We are indebted to you, sir, for initiating this online Sky Yoga practices for the past 4 years. So if it was not possible, otherwise we'll have to go to the center physically to learn the Sky Yoga practices, but in the comfort of our house, in wherever we are able to Zoom in and attend the 12 days classes, or be it the 12 days foundation course or the certificate course. We are truly indebted to you, sir, for initiating online Sky Yoga practices. And the online classes have been benefited many all over the world. So as Mr. Raja Arumugam, sir, he wants world peace. And how are we going to get world peace? So only we spread Vedatriyam all over the world, we can achieve that, isn't it? So I humbly request each one of you to spread Vedatriyam. Okay, if you have anyone to register or any help, we are there to help you. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. But first, I'm really honored and extending my warm welcome to Janaki Raman, sir. Valga Valamadan, sir. Valga Valamadan.
Thank you, Sundarji. It's a pleasure and an honor to be talking to all this wonderful August audience on this beautiful day. This program is something different. We've been doing a lot of programs in the last so many years, but today we had a very learned, esteemed speaker from the United Nations, a man from our own soil, Mr. Raja Arumugam. The way he spoke, it was so thrilling, absolutely fabulous. I want to take a few points from his speech. I just want to consolidate what he spoke and what Balachandran spoke. Mr. Raja Arumugam is the Chief Administration Officer at the United Nations, Geneva. Can you get somebody better than this person? A person who breathes peace in all of his journey. He's gone about 70 countries, met a lot of people, and been in so many UN peacekeeping missions. Such a wonderful personality. Today he is talking about the Aliyar Declaration. When he came to know about this, he feels that this is what's the perfect solution for today's unipolar or the multipolar world. And today, United Nations has peacekeeping forces all over the world. Thankfully, India is the #2 participant in this after Nepal. Just a few numbers behind Nepal, we are the second largest country contributing to the soldiers for the United Nations peacekeeping force. I see Raja Arumugam in a different perspective. What I thought is, if only this speech was given with all the 194 countries, presidents and prime ministers in one place, at the United Nations office in Geneva, where he addresses everybody on the 2002 Aliyar Declaration, I'm sure it would make a lot of difference. A day will come when he, along with many of us, will be there at the United Nations, presenting Maharishi's Aliyar Declaration. Today we are in a polarized world. People say we are the polarized, the haves and have-nots. Today I must say, the polarization is like this: the peace lovers or the peace haters. Suppose we have the peace lovers countries together. I think Mr. Raja Arumugam would fit in to be the right ambassador for those pool of countries. The way he spoke, the way he understood Maharishi's plan was so fascinating. Maharishi talked about expanding the Security Council, removing the veto power, all the for the 5 countries, and which Mr. Kofi Annan, the erstwhile UN Secretary General, spoke, and he wanted that to happen. But for whatever reasons well known, these 5 countries does not want to give up the veto power. But Maharishi wanted that to be done very soon. I'm sure times to come it will happen. India has played a huge role in the peacekeeping missions all over the world. And today, as he said, a lot of countries, the last so many years, dictatorships have been broken. They become not. And how Maharishi wanted things to be of order, and how India has played a beautiful role during the COVID days. The way India came to the forefront, sent missions, people, and medicines to various countries, many of them free of cost. So, this particular initiative by India, he wants that to extend to the peacekeeping also. Yes, he says India as a Vishwa Guru. What a beautiful way he spoke. As a vision of Maharishi, respecting human rights. And today, he sits in the Human Rights Council. We attend a meeting thrice a year. What other forum can we get? And he talks about women's importance, which Maharishi gives. Putting the rights. Okay, the way India is growing in a big way. Today, no country grows 6%. And India is growing so very well. And the disparity is coming down across the globe. Definitely in India, very much yes. And with India playing a huge role, and India can be the leader. Today we are playing the leadership for the third world countries. The day will come when we will be the world leader, wherein as a Vishwa Guru will play that role. And today, what is the way WCSC can play that role? He says it is time for us to, as the ECOSOC member at the United Nations, it is to lead Maharishi's dream, and possibly, as he says, the next year, we should be at the United Nations talking on the International Yoga Day and possibly address a larger audience on a different forum. So I think we got the right audience today and a wonderful speaker today. The way he spoke so very well, and he brought out Maharishi's dreams. I'm sure all of us together can make this happen. And we don't have somebody less in Balachandran here. He's a person who has seen, he's the ambassador of WCSC. Maharishi sent him all over the world. He went to so many countries, established centers all over the world. And he has seen in the various places the Maharishi dreams coming true. Where Maharishi talks about where Maharishi sees the whole world as a one, and the universe and the way divinity he talks about. Is war necessary? Yes, definitely. Nobody will say war is necessary. And beautifully he put across why states are not fighting each other. Because they don't have an army of themselves. Why can't we extend this to the world order? And today, the way we're spending on our GDP of 15% on defense, that money can be used for alleviating poverty. That will be the best thing to do. And the times to come, it should happen. And we have the International Court of Justice in Hague, Netherlands. Possibly a day will come when we will go there and create an order of justice to the world community. Money can be used for developing a lot of people in various places, and the whole world will be a better place to live. And Balachandran has said, the only way is to raise consciousness in people, at every individual. He beautifully said the twofold moral culture. For everyone can understand what is the twofold moral culture, they can take it in the blood and start following it on a daily basis. They'll make a big difference. And he said, no capitalism, no communism, it's altruism. Yes, let us go with what people require. What is love? And let us go and say, okay, make them happy and be happy when somebody is happy with that. And he spoke beautifully about the consciousness, and let us remove the animal behavior in people where Maharishi's 14-point peace plan comes into place. I think we have two best speakers today. Okay, the way the first speaker spoke, Professor Mr. Raja Arumugam, I think it's a very different call. Today we have a few trustees in this session right now. Okay, I'm sure we all will take this message to the top people. Okay, possibly bring him on multiple occasions, and through him we can reach the world audience, multiple countries very soon, and see the peace happening in our times. On that note, I want to thank everybody. I want to especially thank the Indian Yoga Association, Tamil Nadu chapter, Mr. Ilangovan. Okay, he's a Dr. Ilangovan, who's the secretary of the chapter. He has kindly consented to be with us, and he has given concurrence for us to make this a part of the IOA event. I want to thank all the participants, Professor Vijayshri, the computer, beautifully well done, Sundaji, the backend team, and all the people who came and participated. Almost we are about 300, 400 participants today via the Zoom mode and the YouTube mode and other modes. I think we all together must take this message to the global audience. One last thing I want to share with you. This particular Vedatrium knowledge education is available to you through the online. Starting from the foundation course till the last Brahmanyanam is available in multiple languages, in Tamil, English, Kannada, and Telugu. You can, there are people who cannot come to the centers. They cannot go to the Aliyar. Could be your friends, could be your relatives. It's time as you, as Vedatrians, okay, talk to them, make them come on board. And we are here to take the care of them. On that note, I want to thank everybody who gave me this opportunity. I want to thank also our senior professor, Jayanti Amma, for a beautiful meditation that she did, and to all the backend team who made this happen. On that note, thank you, everybody. Let us all together sign off on this beautiful note that we will together make the world peace happen, and we'll be a tool in the Maharishi's dream. Thank you so much. Stay blessed. Valga Valamudan.
Thank you so much, Jaya. Valga Valamudan. So let us wait for a world welfare song now. Thank you all. Valga Valamudan. Be blessed with it.
Adequate and timely rainfall all over the world. May farmers grow crops with great enthusiasm. May the standard of living of workers in all the fields rise. May the spirit of unity in diversity ennoble our culture. May governance be devoid of riots, rivalry and enmity. May the stigma of illiteracy, debt and poverty disappear. May the light of true knowledge which provides for a noble way of living shine forth everywhere, everywhere. Virtuous, lead to excellence and performance of duties. Be blessed by the divine. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness and peace. Be blessed by the divine. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness and peace. Be blessed by the divine. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness and peace.
Thank you all. We look forward to having you in next week's session. It is a Tamil session, the same time 6 to 8, 6 to 7:30. And it's going to be run in the same ID. We have a doctor who's going to come, who has a vast experience, and she's going to come and talk to us. So please see you all there in the next week session on 12th July. Thank you so much. Be blessed by the divine. Thanks, Sunanda ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you. Be blessed by the divine. Thank you.